Okay, just got another package. This one's from Kazakhstan, from Nuzada Masalina. I've never opened anything from Kazakhstan before. I don't really know anything about Kazakhstan, so I'm super excited to open it. Okay, so we have, this is, well, what is that?
What is it?
I have no idea what that is.
Wow, it looks weird. It's like white.
Look.
Read it. Read what it says.
It's all in Cyrillic.
Macaroon.
Oh, there's another one, but it's a different color.
Oh,
look at
interesting.
This. Look, if you know what this is, please tell me so that I know what to do with it.
Aww.
Isn't that beautiful, honey darling? Hello to your family from sunny Kazakhstan. I live in the Almaty. It's the first capital of the country, and Astana is our new capital.
Oh, now there's chocolate. Oh, that looks nice, doesn't it?
Beautiful looking chocolate from Kazakhstan. Suddenly you're interested in this bag. More chocolate. You know, when I think about Kazakhstan, I don't think about chocolate.
No.
Like at all. More chocolate. Looks like some famous scenes from Kazakhstan. There's like some rocks and some mountains and some desert.
And snow.
You have everything in Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
The nomadic money. Check it out. Look at that. Beautiful. These are the musical instruments.
Oh, let's see.
It's like a guitar thing. This one.
Well, that looks quite phallic.
That one looks a bit dirty. So much chocolate and goodies and a beautiful letter. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I have the best students in the world. Hello and welcome to Canguro English. I'm Christian, and today I am going to teach you about the word get. Get is a really fascinating word. It was given to English by the Vikings only 800 years ago. And in this relatively short time, it has grown to become one of the most common verbs in all of English. It's so common, in fact, that linguists want to add it to the list of key verbs. At the moment, we have be, do, and have, and they want to add get to this very small and exclusive list. But its popularity is also the reason why so many people struggle with it, because it has so many different meanings. But in this class, I'm going to explain to you all of the different meanings of get, and also I'm going to show you the logic behind those different meanings. So by the end of this class, get will be your best friend. Let's get to it. Like everything in life, all of the different meanings of the word get can be explained in a very simple way with chocolate biscuits. But before I do that, let's look at all of the detailed meanings of the word get. The original and oldest meaning of get is still the most common, and that is to obtain or receive something. And this could be literally or metaphorically. For example, you can get a pizza. You can also get a cold, get an idea, or get a bus. So I think this gives you an idea of the literal and metaphorical senses of to obtain or receive something. You can also use get in this way as a dietransitive verb, which means it takes a direct and an indirect object to get somebody something. For example, I got you a present. But when you use get as a ditransitive verb, then we normally only use it in a literal sense. It doesn't really work metaphorically. Get also means to become. It describes the process of change. And we use this with adjectives or adjective phrases. For example, to get dark. The light is disappearing and changing into darkness. To get angry, your mood is changing. And to get lost. Originally, you knew where you were, but then you got lost. And even though your wife kept telling you to just ask somebody, you refused to do it, and now you're lost. So you can use get with nouns to mean obtain or receive. And you can use get with adjectives to talk about the process of change or transformation. But you can also use get with verbs, okay? And there are 3 different meanings. It could be permission, achievement, or the beginning of a new state. For example, with permission, Mum said that we were allowed to go into the street until midnight, so we got to play until 12 o'clock. We were permitted to play. Achievement. Oh, my dream was to play football with Cristiano Ronaldo, and last week I got to do it. I achieved it. And finally, the beginning of a state. I think that if you watch my classes, you will get to learn English. Get can also be used to make passives. 2 different types of passives, in fact. And this is a relatively new thing. We have only been doing this since the 20th century. So the first type of passive is the simple passive, and it's the same construction as a passive with be. We have the subject and get, and then the participle. So what's the difference between a passive with get and a passive with be? Well, a passive with get is used to talk about adversity or benefit. So for example, he got arrested. Adversity, it's not good. You could also use it for benefit. He got awarded a lot of money. Fantastic. But this type of passive in English with get is much less frequent than passives with be. And it has some other restrictions. The first one is that it's not very common to use it with an agent, to say he got arrested by okay? And the final thing is you can only use this with dynamic verbs, not really with stative verbs. You couldn't say, for example, he got liked or he got wanted. It sounds wrong. The second type of passive with get is the causative passive, which is subject, then get, then object, and then the participle. For example, I got my hair cut. And this is different because what it means is that you are causing another person to do something. Causing could be a synonym for asking, or it could also be a synonym for forcing, for obliging somebody to do something for you. And this is really important to remember because this idea of get as forcing an obligation is important to understanding a lot of other meanings of get. The next meaning of get is existential get. To say that something exists, that something is. And the most common way to do this in English is with the verb there is. But you can also use have got in the same way. For example, I have got an exam tomorrow is the same as saying there is an exam tomorrow. And in most informal registers, you can, if you want, eliminate have and say I got an exam tomorrow. But remember that this is really only common in speaking and, as I said, in very informal situations. Get can also be used to talk about motion, both literal and metaphorical motion. For example, you can get on the bus. Or if the exam is really difficult and I need to navigate through the exam, I need to get through the exam. And this is a really common usage of get in phrasal verbs. The next meaning of get is possession in the form have got. But again, in speaking or informal registers, you can eliminate have and say, I got a dog. But it has some limitations. It only talks about concrete objects, things that you possess or own. It doesn't have a light meaning. So it's very different to say, I have a shower, which means that you take a shower, and I have got a shower. I physically possess a shower. Get can also be used as a modal verb, more specifically a semi-modal verb, which means that it can be conjugated, and it indicates obligation, necessity, or knowing things. And this is the source of the famous gotta in English, because have got to, again, in speaking or informal registers, we eliminate the have and this becomes got to, gotta. So for example, you have got to study. You gotta study. It's an obligation, it's necessary for you to study. Or here, it's gotta be correct. It has got to be correct. I know that it's correct. Finally, and the most exciting thing about learning all of the different meanings of get is that it unlocks all of the phrasal verbs with get that previously didn't seem to have any logic, didn't make any sense. When you look at them, using all of the distinct meanings of get that we just learnt, the phrasal verbs become completely transparent. For example, to get ahead of somebody. To get ahead is to talk about the motion we are overtaking them in life. To get on with somebody, to have a good relationship, it's the beginning of a new state. To get something back, which is when you obtain or receive something that you had previously. By studying all of the different meanings of get and understanding their deeper logic, phrasal verbs with get can also be your best friend. Now, that was a lot of information, and with my students, I always try to be realistic. How plausible is it that you can remember all of that detail about the word get when you're trying to use it in a sentence? So now, let me show you the word get using chocolate biscuits in a way that I hope will make it really easy to remember. Basically, all of the different meanings of the word get can be explained with this simple action, which is the original meaning from the Viking word geta. Get can mean to obtain or receive. I got a biscuit. It can also mean to become or change. So now I am a person with no biscuit and I have transformed into a person with a biscuit. The same way that you can get angry or it can get dark. Get can also talk about obligation. So I don't really want this biscuit, but I got to take this biscuit. Get also talks about adversity. I really want the biscuit, but no, please, I really want the... It also talks about benefit. Ooh, I got given a biscuit. Get is also existential. There is a biscuit. I got a biscuit. Get is also used for permission. Can I have the... Please? Can I have... Oh. Thanks. Achievement. I got a biscuit! It also describes a new state. Now I'm a biscuitless person. Now I have a biscuit. It's a new beginning for me. I'm very excited about my new biscuit future. Get also talks about the motion. I'm going to get this biscuit. Come on, I want to get the biscuit. I got it. And finally, possession. I got a biscuit. Well, I hope you found that class interesting. And now you have to go and practice with all of these different types of get. Because, remember, practice makes perfect. This video was made possible by all of my patrons on Patreon, so thank you very much. If you would like to sponsor free education, then check out the Patreon link below. And also, if you would like to see any more videos about the English language, then don't forget to subscribe. I'm Christian. This is Canguro English. I'll see you in class.